If you love Unmatched, you come to find that there's a lot of ways to enjoy the game. There's a ton of sub-communities that might not even involve actually playing the game. And there's this one little tiny part of Unmatched that I don't know anything about but have been fascinated with. And that's the amazing world of Fandecks. And when you think of fan creations, you can generally think of cringe. And that's the amazing thing about Unmatched. There's not many of us, but the small few who put their heart and soul into it are pretty talented. And today I sat down with one of the OGs of Fandecks and just Unmatched in general, Taytortots. He's been making content for this game since pretty much the very beginning. He has some of the most popular Fandecks of all of Fandeckdom. So let's get to know the guy. When it comes to Fandecks, you're the first thing I saw when I looked it up.
Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I wasn't aware.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've been in it, you said, since 2019, right?
Yeah, right. Like the Fandeck site came out a little bit after the game was released, and I made 2 decks on there right away. Actually, I'm trying to think where I might have thrown them away. I probably shouldn't have. But they're like, I have a little container I keep my decks in, like in spare parts and whatnot, like spare tokens and anything I might need, a bunch of bases, rings. And I had LeFerrickson and James Bond.
Oh,
So
sick.
the Viking and then James Bond. And so James Bond, he was solo because I don't know much about James Bond. I just played the Nintendo 64 007, and
Yeah.
that's what I based it off of. I didn't know how to upload images onto like this part of the card here. And so I would like copy and paste on top and then try to edit around. It was a pain, and they didn't turn out that great. But I used them for a while, and they were terrible.
Dude, you just whipped out, by the way, a very famous fan deck. That's the Gingerbread Man one, right?
Yeah. Here's
Dude, if you go on like the highest rated fan decks in Unmatched, you know that's one of them, right?
It is pretty high, yeah. Gingerbread Man's pretty high. I do want to say something about the rating system on the Fandex. Now, here's the thing with
Okay,
that.
hot takes, here we go.
Uh, so I've also made a Darth Vader deck, and that's my highest rated deck on there. You'll find it's one of the top ones because it looks pretty good. And the ability's fun. He like uses the force. He moves people that are in his zone 2 spaces at the beginning of his turn, even his own stormtroopers, so he could like send them out and shoot. And it works pretty good, but he's incredibly overpowered. And I made him and I didn't like disclose this in when I first made them because they weren't that popular. I wasn't like doing it for other people. I was doing it for myself. I made it so my opponent, my younger brother, could have a good character and I could just take anybody into him. And that's why I initially made it. And now it's rated really high, and it's in terms of balance, it's terrible. But people just see, oh, Darth Vader. I like Darth Vader. It looks really good. The art's good, all that. So I'm going to click like, which I don't have a problem with, I guess. But it leaves other decks that are actually like well balanced, well thought out, and that people have poured time into lower.
What do you think is like a really well balanced deck that's like fallen under the wayside because of like popular IPs?
A public domain deck that someone's made that's fallen. Here's the thing, like I kept up whenever a new deck was made, I read everything on it and I like reviewed it. But it got to be such a big like it grew so quickly and there's so many decks I couldn't keep up. So I like gave up entirely and I didn't read anybody's decks. There are some decks that I thought were super clever, like Mother Goose. You like rhyme cards. And see, I don't even remember who made these decks. I feel bad for not remembering and shouting them out. But Mother Goose deck was good. The Pinocchio deck was cool. I'm more drawn to that kind of stuff anyway. Those type of fairy tales, fables characters that have fallen by the wayside. Usually, people love those IP decks, though. You know,
Right.
those are high rated ones. People like the like Freddy Krueger or like Darth Vader. Mandalorian's rated, I think, the highest or second highest.
Yeah.
He was the highest for a long time, anyway.
Star Wars is particularly popular with the fan decks.
Right.
And I think it's because, like, well, first of all, Star Wars is huge, but I feel like Unmatched has like that origin of like it used to be a Star Wars game, right? Or something like, or it's based off a Star Wars game.
Yeah, Star Wars Epic Duels.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I played that once. It was all right. I guess I wouldn't play it a lot, but people want to be the Star Wars characters, so they get hype about it. The Mandalorian deck is also the first deck I believe ever on the site, so that's another reason it's higher up. It
Oh,
has
is
more
that
time,
right?
I believe so.
I feel like, yeah, it's funny because I called you like the Fandeck guy, and you're like, I don't know about that, but you were there since the beginning of Fandeck. So I mean, you're kind of a
Yeah.
big deal in the Fandeck world. Am I crazy or not?
Uh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I just don't like to think of myself like that. But yeah, you're right. um,
Thank you.
people people contact me like weekly. People contact me maybe multiple times a week, different people, and ask, "Can I buy one of your decks?" And I always say, "No, they're free. Print it." And they're like, "Well, I don't know how." Then I walk them through it. That's why I just made that video of how to make a deck, so I could just be like, copy paste, here you go. Instead, because I like on a weekly basis, I type that out and tell people how to how to make a deck, and then they have another question, another question. Well, you could get pretty far. Like I could just make a deck like this and call her good, or I could also like get a dial, and these are made by Schooner Labs, I believe is called, or something like that. But Unmatched, he does these, so I can make a whole deck. You could get a mini, make your own mini. You gotta think about these little ring bases too, because I want it to look authentic. And then I tried these sidekick tokens. These are laser engraved, and you can hardly see it maybe on camera, but that's like an archer guy, and there's 3 of those. So where to get those? People really struggle where to find these. I just ordered a slew of them. I also bought the Buffy set and then scrapped it and took their pieces. And I like the board. So now this is like Willow, but this is a Hero Forge guy I made for Aragon, not Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, but Aragon from
The dragon.
the inheritance cycle. Yeah, and his sidekick dragon is the Terra token.
Oh,
So I
okay.
do that. I do stuff like that too, or I just take a character from another game. This is from Heroescape. I painted him up and I gave him his own base, glued him onto a different. I think that used to be Spike's base. I glued it on there, and then I printed him off a deck. These decks that I have out right now are ones that are mistakes. I've literally spent more on the custom stuff than actual Unmatched. And I've bought multiple copies of the real Unmatched. Um, I gotta be quiet because my wife might hear me, but a couple $1,000s on like,
Yo!
I ain't even joking, like on total on every custom stuff that I've got. So you can get pretty deep into it. That's why I don't want to go further. Like I'm done.
Right, you're out.
Um,
This is your last hurrah when it comes to the Fandeck world, right?
Pretty much. I might make a few more tweak, but here's the issue. Like I find an issue. Like this is my old gingerbread man deck because at the bottom you can't really read it, but it says Ginger Man Tournament Ready because I had like 2 copies of it and I printed off the wrong one. And so now it says Gingerbread Man Tournament Ready. I'm like, that's a mistake. And so I reprint it. I've reprinted this deck and I print it for all my friends and for giveaways and stuff like that. So I've like stuff like that. And then the art to do this, I had to buy. I literally bought an art tablet specifically to make decks, and that was like $400 or $500. And then, I'm not the greatest artist, but then I had to buy different software to do certain things, and I'm sure there's better ways to doing it, but I'm not the smartest, brightest bulb. And then, like if something was misspelled, like on this deck, I can't remember what it is. I believe damage or something I spelled wrong, like a typo, and that irritates me. So I like print the whole deck again. Um,
Restoration Games has a few spelling errors himself. I don't know if you saw Black Panther, but it literally says Black Panther, like with an
yeah,
extra N.
Panther,
Yeah,
yeah,
Panther.
uh,
That's right. So you're
yeah.
a
I
bit
did.
more on it.
I did see it. Did you know that? Maybe I should make a list. I feel bad if I made a list of all of the mistakes that they have, but they had like the one in Willow's deck where they say cancel the ability instead of cancel the effects, which could be a big deal. I mean, like
Right.
canceling an ability. And then they had, on Vengeance on Ghost Rider's deck. Now, this is going to irritate people. Vengeance on Ghost Rider's deck is spelled wrong.
And
Um,
you know what's funny? I don't read. I don't use my brain
right.
at all, so I never paid attention. I don't know how to spell vengeance, so I
Yeah.
can't hold it against them. But yeah,
People pointed that stuff out to me. Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Did you see on the, I believe it's the Hell's Kitchen map, if I'm not mistaken. On the one side, there's like a line connecting two circles. You know how they have like the alternate art side so you can play without the zones colored in?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on the one side, there's a line connecting two spaces, and on the other side, it's not there.
Really?
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal last year. I found that I was like just analyzing the boards because I put stuff in TTS, Tabletop Simulator, and I was looking at it and I was like, man, this is off.
That's crazy. I feel like you are the only person that looks at the back of those boards. Cuz I
I
never ever want to ever play on those things, man. I
Yeah,
love the
I
front.
never. Yeah, I like the solid space. I'm trying to play a game here, not look at the art. If I want to look at the art, sure, I guess cool, but I don't care enough to be like, well, that space is in my way. What if there's a tire under there I could have looked at? I don't care.
Yeah, and if that was the case, if the point was to see the art, then I don't even need the spots there. To like those empty like little rings. Just put the board by itself. I think it's
Yeah.
maybe giving you that feeling of like, oh, you have two sides, so it's like more content. But honestly, I wouldn't mind just having the art there. Oh, what you about to show me? Oh, this is gonna be good. If he has to go get it, ooh, let
This
me
is what I
see.
keep all my sets in.
Oh, snap!
So I was going to show you what I do here.
Yeah,
This
I
is
want to see.
evil. So these boards that have this is the Jurassic Raptor one.
Mm-hmm.
When you flip it over, I paste my own custom boards on there.
Yo, that's so vibrant. The pink? I'm loving the pink, bro.
That's
Styling.
these I do that to all these boards, right? So here's
Wow.
the T-Rex one, and I got my own stuff,
Whoa.
mushrooms. Here's a chessboard on this side. That was kind of
Whoa.
messy looking, but I say that I spent good money on like customs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I made a bunch of these boards or whatever, and I sell them.
Oh, really?
So yeah, last year, about a year and a few months ago, I like a couple people had made boards before, but nobody to the extent that I was making them, and nobody was selling them. And so I got into that pretty heavily for a bit as well. And so I just started making boards, and then I printed them off and sold them initially, and now I just sell the PDF files, and it's made me more. I won't tell you how much, but it's made me more money than I've spent in my customs.
Damn, boy.
So
You
I, I
slanging?
feel
I
I
didn't
feel
know
like
you were
it.
like that, bro. You said I got a fat pocket still. Oh, snap.
Yeah, I'm not just like dumb about it. I was like, I got to make my money back.
Dude, I'm dumb about it. That's all good if you
I,
were, but no, you're smart about it.
yep. So that worked out, and Restoration Games, I contacted them. They allowed me to do it. They looked over my boards. He brought it before the team. They have like a meetup that they do,
Mm-hmm.
and talk about things. And he presented my boards to them then, to just check, make sure they're viable. They didn't have any glaring issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, that's what I did. I sent them to them, and they looked over them, and they're like, they're good. And I've gotten a better feeling for how to make a board. I think I can make a map now way better than the first four that I still sell. And that even those ones went through renditions, but
Mm.
it's pretty nice. And usually I give people deals. I charge like $5 a PDF file. But if they buy a bunch of them, I'm like, here's some free ones too, and I'll discount the price because 5 times however many I've made, I think you're looking at like $60 for the whole thing if you were to buy all of
Mm.
them. And most people that message me are like, I was like, okay, which ones you want? And they're like, I want them all. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, give me all of them. Okay, so most people buy all of them.
What's your most
So I
popular board?
again, it's like it's the IPs, the intellectual property ones.
Mm.
Um, So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle large board is popular, but that one's free. So I mean, that one's free because I don't own the license of Ninja Turtles. So
Right.
I put those two out there free, my Ninja Turtle ones. I gotta say, like my Ninja Turtle 4-player map, it might be my best map I ever made. It's
Oh,
balanced. I think it's good for melee fighters to help balance out the gap between melee and range, but still giving ranged options. And there's no like infinite loops or gimmicks to the map. It's just a map.
I've always wanted to like make a fan deck, like ever since I became a fan. And the first deck I tried to make was a Top Gun Maverick like character, and I gave
Okay.
him move 4. I gave him like 5s with like insane effects. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was doing, man. And I was really
Me neither.
inspired when I no, I think you have an idea
No, not
because
at the beginning. I didn't. Not at the beginning.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because like I saw your decks, and I was like, oh, people are making like real decks. And then that got more confirmed when I heard about there was this fan contest that Restoration
Yeah, that
Games
was pretty
had,
fun.
where they could have fans turn in their deck ideas as long as they were public domain, and they became like real characters. So that's like Genie, Houdini, and some characters that are coming later. I believe Oda Nobunaga was also that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shakespeare and Rosie, and that's all that you know about.
Right. Ooh. I was about to say you got all the leaks, bro. You know all the information.
Yeah, I do have quite a bit of leaks. I know a lot of stuff that's coming out, probably more than most people. But sometimes it's not very fun to know. I don't know. There's
I,
a joy in not knowing.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm debating whether I want that myself because I've taken every opportunity to know anything that's coming in the future. You know, anytime someone wanted, hey, you want to know this? I'm like, yeah. Like I don't even think about it. So I don't know. I feel like I'm still excited, but I do respect, like, you know, I don't know if you know, but Zero Skater specifically doesn't, or, you know, that's what he said in his last video. He did not even know what the cards did until he played them over the board. And
Right.
there is like a joy in that. There's like a nice spirit with that, but
Yep.
I kind of want to play it over TTS as soon as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I upload everything in TTS immediately when I get photos, when I get pictures, I crop them out. I've been doing that since it came out. And now they send me the set early anyway. So I'm already doing that. I just got to be careful who I play with so that they don't share those assets around and get in trouble with that. But
Right.
especially like IP stuff. But like I'm already playing as Jill Trent and fighting the Mothman. I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, that set, the guys that made that set, um, and then pitched it. I remember a couple years ago, they were like, "Hey, we got this new thing. You want to help us play it?" And I played it. I play tested it with them in its first like maybe not first rendition of it, but pretty close. I mean, they didn't have the alien stuff going on. They just had the cryptid
Yeah, the
thing.
Mothman. Yeah.
Um,
Dude, yeah. Unmatched Adventures is really cool. That's like the one of the biggest things I was waiting for. And when they announced that they were doing a co-op thing, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be huge for Unmatched." And they had a
yeah,
$10,000 gold for their Kickstarter, and then they reached like $500,000 or something, like insane.
I think it'll be good. Keep the game fresh. I'm not a huge fan. I just gotta be honest. I'm not. I love the alien side. That's a great idea. Because
Mm.
and here's my reasoning, and this is in my own head reasoning of why I like and dislike certain things. So I like that side of it because I can fight aliens and the alien invader, and it's generic, right? An alien invader, low green men are generic, but you go to Mothman's side. Mothman's a specific character. And the minions are specific characters, and I don't want to fight specific characters. I want to play as
Mm.
specific characters. So I'd rather fight like the Blob. I'd rather fight the giant spider, the giant ant, and the aliens, or something else like a giant kraken on a boat. I'd like to fight something like that. I don't want a specific um, character to fight against. But that's me personally. I'm still gonna do it.
Right, right.
I'm probably still gonna love it, but that's the only thing I would have done differently if I was in any position to do that. But I'm not. So here we are. But
Those
that's why
guys,
Fandecks are here. Fan custom.
right? I was gonna say, like, how cool is it though that not only did people from the fan deck contest get to make characters, but these guys who had nothing to do with anything, just had a dream, and they made their own fan decks too, and it actually became a box. So I think that's just cool that it worked out
Yeah,
that way.
that's my dream. I want one of my decks to become an actual playable for other people and tested. You know, they wouldn't even need to test mine that much. I've probably played Gingerbread Man more than any other character. And I've played Wukong like over 200 times now. So usually
Mhm.
my characters are not busted anymore because I did a few busted ones and then I was like, I gotta tone it down. So now what I do is I just make it how I come up with a character and ability. I try to center all the cards around that ability. And then as far as boost values go, I try to always remember Sherlock is a character that they could play against, and I could be hurt by the boost. So, like, the Gingerbread Man has a 4 boost scheme. So, confirmed suspicion doesn't work on schemes. So, that's what his
Mm.
highest boost values are on his schemes. Um, and like boost values and stuff, making sure that they're not overpowered.
Would you consider Sherlock overpowered?
Yeah, extremely.
I would say he's not the simplest, but I guess if you know everybody's deck, it's pretty simple,
Yeah, his issue is he can run away the whole game and just shoot you with schemes.
right?
He's one of the worst in terms of power level, and he's one of the worst.
Yeah.
And Electra and him, then Medusa, then Bigfoot, in that order. My opinion, they should be tweaked, officially tweaked.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
I won't.
I've been wondering if they would ever consider doing patches. Like, if not for the stronger characters, like, that'd be cool if they made like a box set and they just had like a grouping of cards that they could just mail out to us, just cards, and it would just
Yeah, that's what
belong
I'm
to
saying.
like King Arthur and whoever
Yeah,
should.
that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Patch cards. I think they should just like Battle Legends Volume 3. Here's, a few extra cards to help balance the deck. You don't have to play with them, but for those of you that care that King Arthur's, I don't in person. I have a card I printed off when I printed some Fandecks. I also printed off a King Arthur card with the tweak to the ability, and that's what we play with. Let's see. I
I
don't
like
remember.
this. I didn't think it was gonna go this route. I didn't know you patched characters too. That's really cool.
Oh, dude, I got Sherlock and Wukong patch too.
Oh wow.
I should show you the Sherlock one as well.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see whatever you want to show me, man.
Should have had this stuff all out and ready, huh?
No, this is more genuine. You look so excited when you go get it.
This is well, you put that much money into it, you'd probably be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited just looking at you.
So we got extra rules card for Arthur. I'll read it because it's backwards. At the
Mm.
beginning of the game, split your deck into 2 different piles of 15. Shuffle Excalibur into the top 15 and shuffle Lady of the Lake into the bottom 15. So
Oh.
so you could get so you never get those mixed up because that's the order you need it in, really. And then
Right.
also his ability is your opponent. If your opponent cancels the effects on your attack card, place the boosted card back into your hand.
Oh, that's awesome. I really like
Yeah,
that.
that's like one of the first fixes, and people try to. Everyone's gonna have a different idea, and it's constantly gonna change of what he needs
Mm.
to be fixed. But I just go with this. I don't care what other people say, and my friends obviously they want him to be more powerful. So when I'm online, though, all my games with him online that I record, I don't use tweaks.
Right. That's fair. But that's cool that you have like a house rule. I kind of did a thing where I had a house rule. I like kind of patched a character. It was Bloody Mary, and it didn't really work, but at least it was an interesting thought experiment. It was Bloody Mary had Genie's ability. So basically, you
Okay.
could throw a card out and she would have the third action. So I just wanted her stronger cards to pop off more reliably. And yeah, I still lost to Robin Hood. Like, I mean, it was devastating.
I like playing Mary. She's one of my most played characters too. She's fun.
Yeah, I got a lot of love for her because her art's like one of my favorites. I just love how scary she actually is. And, her design is just so sick. And I love the idea of threes. I feel like Genie has like threes too, like as a theme, but his is a bit stronger.
Which card is real? One is fake,
Ooh,
one is real.
I don't know, dude. They're both legit. I don't know. You got to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. So I just put them in the deck because you can't tell really. I mean, you could in person, you could tell, but you wouldn't know which one was which.
Mm.
So I put in mine are sleeves, so it makes it even harder. But here it is. This one is fake with the 0, and this one is real with the 3.
Ooh.
And the difference here is the regular elementary, you play it face up and predict the printed attack value of the opponent's card. If you predicted the correct value, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its attack value. And then mine is play this card face up, predict the printed value of the opponent's card. If you predicted the correct value, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its attack value. So it's the same, except there's a 0 here and a 3 here. So if you guess wrong, you're still getting damaged pretty well. You have to guess. This really hurts you if you play it wrong.
Right.
And then and this is the only other card I changed in his deck, I believe. This is Counter Punch. Again, it's just the same. I just yoinked them from online. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, but I did. And this is a 3. I mean, I own the set, so
Right,
I don't feel like I'm stealing anything. If Holmes is adjacent to the opposing fighter, deal 2 damage to that fighter. So this one is, and it's a 3. This is a 2 value, and it's a deal 1 damage instead of 2.
Yeah, counterpunch is nuts. When you're a melee
Yeah.
character and you're just getting socked in the face by like a nerd, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah. That's amazing that you do all those patches, dude. I have thought about doing that myself, so it's cool to see that you've been doing that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like your favorite decks that you've made, do you have one that you think is like the one you would push to become like an actual Restoration Games Unmatched official character? Would that be Gingerbread Man?
The thing is, like, I put so much time into the art on Gingerbread Man, but
Mm-hmm.
nah, I wouldn't say no. But I'd feel bad because then like they do their own art for it. I'd be like, man, I miss my Gingerbread
Oh.
Man art. I put so much time into doing all the art for it, and that was when I was learning to do how to do digital art, and so I'd feel bad a little bit in that regard. But no, I'd probably push that one the most, and then Raven would be my next, and that one has probably my best looking art. It's less goofy looking than the silliness that is Gingerbread Man.
I love the
Um,
art for Gingerbread Man. I'll just go ahead and say it. That's what drew me into the deck because I saw that you made it yourself, which not a lot of people
oh
do that.
yeah, it's hard to. I mean, it's very time consuming to make your own art as well. So it does make it so you wanna do better though. You wanna make it look authentic.
Yeah.
But we got the Gingerbread Man mini here.
Yo! Oh my gosh, dude. That
It's a
is
little king,
crazy.
and then his sidekick, the fox.
Bro, your tokens are nuts. Do you think you're the only one doing that?
Nah, there's a few others I know that have actually tokens. I'm not sure if I've seen tokens as good looking as these.
Bro, I've
I've seen some
never.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
Here's my
crazy.
Raven. He broke off, but
Oh, all that needs is some glue and some love. I'm sure I'll be all
that's
right.
a shout out. A shout out to. I'm so bad with these names, and I feel bad for not shouting people out. But that's a shout out to Cardboard Hustle on
Oh,
the Discord.
shout
He
out.
did. He does all that stuff.
Mm.
And so he 3D printed me those. My brother is a 3D printer, but it's not as good as cardboard. So, but the Raven would be probably my next deck that I would
Whoa.
say I would want as a playable deck because the art on it is like more I don't know. I got better at art, and it's like a darker theme.
It's
Um,
beautiful, dude. Wow.
so I guess that one I'm most proud of in that sense, and the ability is super fun. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 15. I was making sure, but he's got 13 health. He's solo, and there's only 15 cards in his deck. And I
Yeah,
did this before, like Daredevil, because he can like get new. He has a smaller deck. Before those decks came out, I had already like made this. I'd already been working on it and then released it.
dude.
But he steals cards essentially from the opponent, puts them into his own hand and stuff.
Oh my god. I love how much time you put into it, man. You have no idea how much respect I
Too
got
much.
for you right now. No, dude, this is crazy cool. Like I don't think I've told you, but Unmatched is my favorite game. I mean, you could probably
Yeah,
if I dedicate a channel to Unmatched, you got to assume that I like it a lot.
sure.
But
Yeah,
just I love how this game when you see the surface of it, you see like a Bigfoot versus Robin Hood, simple, right? But
sure.
then you realize there's an insane meta with it, right? It's easy to learn, hard to master. And then
Yeah,
if you want to deep dive a little bit more, you find the fandecks, you find the content, you find all these other aspects of the game that are, and it's all growing. And
yeah.
the fandecks is like so fascinating to me. First of all, because I'm not part of it, so
Mhm.
maybe it's a little bit more mysterious to me. But another part of it is I want to play all these characters too, because a lot of people put a lot of time into them. They seem like actually fun, and
That's cool.
when I think of my own like custom created things, you think of it as maybe not as polished, but you guys are really going all the way on it.
Yeah, I think that that's my one of my issues is I've made and I want to perfect my own decks and get them as authentic looking as possible. And I've spent money printing them. That I get characters. I see other people's characters. For example, this guy, Cardboard sent me a Banana Knight miniature. I started painting it, but I don't have a deck for it yet. And he did his own art for it, or got his own art done. I don't remember, but it looks pretty authentic too. So the only decks that I bother with now are ones that are arted and
Mm,
arted by not like just taking stuff off the internet. And even in my own decks, like I don't use my Gandalf anymore because I just took art from the internet and I
right.
want to make my own art, or I want to have like official looking art for an unmatched deck. So the only characters I really use are Gingerbread Man and Raven and Rumpelstiltskin because
Okay.
I arted all those. And so when I'm looking at Fandex, I want, and they put, if they're gonna put full art on it, they put care into the deck too,
Yeah.
that they did themselves. So that's another thing. But my problem is I want to print off all these people's decks too, but I just can't.
Right.
If it would really have to wow me for me to print it, or be convenient. Like this Banana Knight, I might print it because he did his own art. The only reason I didn't is because one of the cards was off at the time. I think he was using a faint art because they
Mm.
took the faint out for a regroup or something like that. So I was just gonna wait, and then it never happened. And then I have other people like send me stuff.
The
I
the
know it's here.
dials are insane, by the way. Like I can see someone like looking for a place to get like minis or cards, but the fact that you found a person that does dials specifically for Unmatched, dude,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
found
he
it.
does. He does all sorts of that, kind of stuff. What I was doing before was like using old dial. So here's Angel's old dial. I just put hero on here and
Mm.
then used it for some of my characters. Here's the original. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay, here's 007 and
Yeah.
LaFerris with a little like tab thing on styrofoam.
Humble beginnings, dude. Wow, you're crafty. You are crafty though.
I moved up to I got X-wing when I did my Darth Vader. I use this
Oh,
X-wing dial.
yeah.
So I just was looking at other games that had it, and then you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Mhm.
um, adventure system. These are pretty big though, so I haven't used these, and they go up to 20, I think.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, if you want to dive into this world, you got to be careful.
I got a buddy who he's working on his own box, and it inspired me to learn more about it because I think he really really loves these characters. Like they feel like these personal like art pieces now for him. Like he was just kind of doing it for fun, but now he's like balancing them. He's like, I kind of want to get my own art for it. Like if not do it myself, like find a way to get the art.
I've looked
Um,
into having somebody do the art for me, and it's pretty expensive. I don't think I should do that.
right? But then you learned how to do it yourself, and it looks. I mean, it worked out. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it worked
I
out.
think Gingerbread Man is the best it's gonna be because it was all you. You know, I think
Yeah.
that's so cool, and you could see the love in it. That's why it's probably my favorite fan deck that I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I have it on TTS and everything, so I've been wanting to play them, but I haven't had the chance yet. I played a few people's. I played just some of my buddies that are in the works. Oh, are those the card backs? That's
This was
great.
this was one of the original. Let's see, the Gingerbread Man.
Mm-hmm.
This was his original deck before I decided to art it. So this card back,
Dude, that's so cute.
and then we got like some of these cards aren't even there anymore. Let's see if I can find. Like here's one called Sweet Tooth, and I went through and I got like storybook art.
Mm, that's so
Actually,
cute.
this is the storybook I grew up with reading.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So this meant a lot to you. Like, was it your
Uh,
favorite, or was it just read to you a bunch and then you had to just know the story?
I had like a couple of favorites. This was one of them. The others were Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I remember reading that when I was a kid.
Mm.
And now it's a movie now. People just think you're talking about a movie, but it was a book way before that.
Yeah, I didn't know
And
that.
then the other one was Grandma and the Pirates, and the other one is Possum Coming Knocking at the Door. These are all kids books, and I thought they're great.
Bro, do you know the old lady in the shoe?
But yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay, because I was talking to these 20-year-olds and they were talking about Mother Goose, you know, the basic what are those
Nursery
called?
rhyme.
Yeah, nursery rhymes.
Nursery rhyme.
That's basically the Spider-Man of nursery rhymes. But I was trying to get deep, right? Because I was talking
Okay.
about the old lady in the shoe, and they had no idea what I was talking about, and I was almost like wondering if I made that up. So I'm so glad that that's a real. It's about an old lady who has a bunch of kids, right? And she lives in a
And she
giant
lives in
shoe.
a shoe.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you got it. Yeah, you're not crazy.
Okay, I might be crazy, but at least I'm not that crazy.
Yeah.
The world of Fandex is so vast, right? Aren't there like
Oh yeah.
I looked at the if you go on unmatched.cards and you
Yeah.
see the Fandeck page, dude, there's thousands of pages of
Yeah.
fan made create. I don't know if they get made every day, but I mean they must get made a lot.
I'm on there right now. There are 7,221 fan decks.
Bro, what the hell? Oh
Some of
yeah,
these decks though are just stupid, and so I just think like I've made joke. I think I made a yeah. I've made joke decks before. Like
sure.
uh, on my, I have like the generic pawn. That's not really a joke deck, but it's like kinda.
It's a
It's
funny
funny.
idea. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it
Um,
couldn't be legit though.
yeah, it works. Um, oh, I do have the human tooth cow. That's after baked goods. I made a deck about him.
Oh, okay,
Um,
gotcha. That's funny.
and then Bernardo Rodriguez, he kind of helped me get into Unmatched a little bit too. He's like one of the first people I started talking to about it, and he did stuff with Restoration Games. He has his own YouTube channel, Tabletop Island, where he does. He's been away from it a little bit because he's also a magician, so he's been doing stuff like that. But he lives out in Maryland, and he does classic and old board games, vintage board games. He
Mm.
has like a whole channel designated to that. So Restoration Games, taking old games, making new. Obviously, he's into that as well. So I made a deck for him. That was kind of funny. It was more just like a joke for him and me.
Wait,
Um,
hold on. Did you just say Restoration Games is a company made to like remake games? And I
you,
didn't realize that this whole time, dude.
what
No
Wait, what do you mean you
way!
didn't know?
You just
What do you mean
blew
you didn't?
you just blew my mind.
Why didn't you know that?
Because I only play Unmatched because I'm a freak, okay? But they did
Okay,
Keys
so
to the Kingdom, right? Which I played that game a long time ago.
yeah, Key to the Kingdom. Actually, I had the original one. I'd found at a Goodwill. I sent it to my friend Bernardo because I know he's gonna, review it and compare it. He does
Mm,
that. They got Return to Dark Tower because there was Dark Tower before. Unmatched is from um, Star Wars Epic Duels.
right.
Thunder Road Vendetta is from Thunder Road. So I'm just looking through some of my decks, and some of them are private that I've never released because um, they're not done. And I quit. I got really sick of like people releasing decks that were just like, bleh, here it is, bleh. It's
Mm,
not done. There's no balance. There's none. So I started only releasing ones that I feel like
are done.
would be balanced, and I am done with them.
Mm,
So like the pawn, I never even have played it, but I'm fairly certain that it's not overpowered or underpowered. I think it'd play just fine. If it had like a more complex ability, I probably wouldn't have released it. And it was almost a joke too. But
right.
people be throwing out decks like this whole thing. You got to sift through to find good decks, and that is hard with however many whatever. Oh, this says I made 60 fan decks.
Yo. And how many have you released?
I don't even know, man. I'd have to sit here and count. Publish, publish.
That's great. I saw this one where it's like Beowulf, but he's a bro or something. Do you know that one?
Yeah,
It's literally just Beowulf, but it has different text and like it's saying like chill and like yeah, it's so dumb. I like the meme ones, but for me, the ones that excite me the most are obviously the type of ones you make, which are the fully arted, like play tested, like all the
yeah.
crazy ways of doing it. I thought when I saw your decks that I was like, this guy's trying to make real decks, and I wonder if his dream was to make decks for restoration game. Are you somebody who wants to make board games for a living, or is this like a specific unmatched? Like I want to make like original unmatched stuff.
I have a creativity passion.
Mm-hmm.
I would love. I've dabbled in making my own board games. I've done like 4 different ones. I remember when I was a teenager. Okay, so rewind way back to when I was like 10 or something. I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't really play it, but I collected the cards, and me and my brothers would play it. And I moved in with my dad. I didn't have any Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I couldn't buy anything. I was like, I'll just make my own. So I got index cards. I did all the art. I still have it. I have like a whole stack of like fake Yu-Gi-Oh index card, and I made my own way to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my introduction to making it. And I've always had a creative mind and love doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, I would love to do something like that. Right now, full time, I'm doing mission work, and working on moving to Bolivia. But I am on the promotional team for Restoration Games to do. They send me sets to review and stuff. That's pretty much it. And then at like Gen Con and stuff, if I were to go there, I'd be a part of that. But I didn't. I told them I can't do that because of my leaving the country for one.
Right.
I can't. There's no postal service in Bolivia where I'm moving.
Yeah.
And so that puts a damper on it. And I only come back every couple of years. So I'm gonna have to come back, buy a bunch on Match, go back,
Yeah.
And so it's not working out as far as that goes. I would like to be doing some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind being on like restorations team designing decks. I do play testing. I mean, I do quite a bit already. So it would be nice to make a little extra money and do something like that, though, because whatever your passion is, you want to implement that into your job.
Sure.
So, and I have multiple passions. I feel like I have so many hobbies that I would be pretty content doing a lot of it, a lot of these different things full time. But yeah, that's I would love to do that. Love to make decks and whatnot, but it's just not probably not going to happen.
You never
Currently, what
know,
I'm doing.
man. You never, the Dirtle, they made UMA happen. Maybe if
Oh
you
yeah,
come up with
Doodle
something
game.
sexy, like I got a pitch for you. If you want to if you maybe it'll get you so excited that you'll make a whole box set and you'll be famous. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Unmatched racing.
What?
Dude.
Downforce Unmatched.
Yeah, dude. So we'll keep the character just like Unmatched Adventures. You use the same characters, but they have, make it to where they can like go around a track. I'm telling you, there's something there. Or Unmatched Dating Game. Or I think the Unmatched Dating Game is the best idea ever. But I was gonna hold on to that one, but I will never make it. So if you made it, then you could.
Expect me to? Yeah, I probably wouldn't be any good at that Unmatched Dating Game.
You're married, bro. Of course you would be.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you literally got married. I'm not married. I'm single, dude. I'm ready to mingle.
Do it.
Thanks.
Bloody Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary.
Dude, I don't know. You know,
dating game.
She might be.
You know what's scary?
Huh?
Is like, honestly, Bloody Mary. Like, I see her in the hallway like that. You know the one card where she's in the hallway and she's like her head's down.
Oh yeah.
In closer than she appears, I think is what it was. It kind of looks like if my wife had black hair. My wife's a brunette, but if she had black hair, that kind of looks like her from a distance. So
in the best way. In the best
way. And I was like, if my wife were to die and become an evil spirit, that would be her.
Yo, you're loyal, bro. You're so loyal. Even if she's a spirit, you're gonna stay with her. You're gonna make me cry. This is like some Ghibli movie stuff, man.
Dude, I love Studio Ghibli. That'd be my dream. One of my dream IPs.
Oh,
anyway, yeah.
That'd be, bro. I think that it's probably hard to come to restoration games like, I have this idea for a character, and it might be more enticing to be like, I got like a new pitch for a whole way to play the game, because that's something they're not really doing, or maybe they weren't at one point, and maybe they're looking into it now since Unmatched Adventures. But you could pitch those ideas, because I have the idea, but I have no mechanics for Unmatched Racing. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't want just to move 3 characters or Sinbad being the best character automatically. You know
that I hosted 2 Fandeck tournaments.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Me and we call ourselves the Big 3. I didn't come up with a name, but we have our own Discord, and then we started a thing. It was me and Poindexter G. He also makes YouTube content, and then
Tabletop Gaming,
and then Hubaris. So us 3, we did this, and it was great. It was fun. People had fun. It was like testing to see if people would be interested. And people are interested in that. And then fast forward to spring of last year. So around this time last year, I started another one. And then Poindexter had to go to Egypt for this trip, and so we put it on halt. Even Justin Jacobson from Restoration Games was in the tournament. You submit a character, you don't get to play as your own character, but you get assigned a random character, and then you play through using only that character this tournament. And so some characters are broken. You can't play test as tournament organizers. We can look at the decks, but you never know if something's fully broken because you can't test it and all that. So there were broken characters that got in. There were weaker characters, and it's whatever. It's mostly for fun, and you get to try other people's decks. You get to see whose deck makes it to the end, and the person that makes it to the end, you're like, wow, their deck is OP. And so it's kind of funny, but it was a good time. But we never did finish it. We never picked it back up. It's dead now. But it could be revived pretty quick and easy, I'm sure. I was thinking about doing a tournament myself, because the only tournaments that are held are by a certain group of people, like officially from Restorations. They let people. But I contacted somebody at Restoration recently, and I had this idea for a tournament, and so Suzanne, she said, yeah, that'd be great. We could provide assets, but I just haven't quite done it yet because I've been busy. And then I'm preparing to go to Bolivia in August. So.
Right. Your whole life's about to change, so I get it. But I think
I'm sure you'll see less of me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's awesome that you came up with a Fandeck tournament at all. Like, that's very cool. I'd never even thought to do that. And I like how you're finding ways to expand, like, people getting to use their decks, because I have a couple people who always want to playtest their decks with me. And how cool is it that you set up a thing for those people to, like, not only are they getting to see their characters be played, but by other people, and you can kind of see like how their ideas work with that character. Because I don't know, I think there's something really special about you doing that. What would you want the most for Fandex and the Fandex community? Like, do you want to see them like rise up and become Restoration Games officials, or do you want them to make their own side kind of community, kind of like what you're doing with the tournaments, but be popular in their own right?
I was hoping that this would be my hope, is that because there's so many Fandecks, to get a this sounds really formal, but like a board of just us people, regular people, not Restoration, and that we submit new decks. People can submit decks, and we can just face value say, no, we're not going to take this one in to like the official, unofficial decks. Because I want a place where I can go and I can look at and say, okay, this deck is pretty well balanced. It may have some issues, but people put work into this. It's arted. It's like an official looking deck. Assets. I want a place where I can go and find those and use those, and I'd implement them into my plays. Like I would play with them too on Tabletop Simulator, and I think other people would benefit from that. But when you go on the site, you're like, okay, I got 7,221 Fandecks to get through, and increasing by the day. You get a couple more each day. That's insanity to get through. So to do something like that, and then to separate it into two categories: IPs and public domains. And then people can just, okay, I'm not interested in that, and I need to scroll through and find not like 1,000 decks to go through, but find like 20, 30, maybe 40. I mean, I'm sure, because it's going to keep growing, but official, unofficial decks, like a place where we could go and find those.
But it's curated, so even if there were 40 to 50 decks, you would feel like, oh, well, I want to find a character that I like, whether it be public domain or IP, and you would have that seal of approval, like Taytortots and the board approve of this deck, so you feel like, oh, well, this is going to be balanced. So, I mean, yeah, it might be intimidating to have 40 decks, but I'm saying, like, I feel like the community would appreciate that aspect a lot.
Yeah, maybe I'll start something like that. Get a few guys together. And,
I think that's a really cool idea.
If people want to like submit to us, and then if people want to join the board too, I mean, I probably wouldn't have an issue with most people joining the board. I would want to look at their decks and see if they have a good eye for venting out good decks. In my opinion, that's what I would do. I would make a board.
Yeah.
Do some type of. I'm sure there's a better word I could come up with for it later, but like have a board of people where like, yeah, this has the board's approval of a well-balanced, good character to use. And then, because you get people on Facebook group and on, asking all the time, what's a good fan deck to use? Well, I'm looking for good fan decks, and I don't know what's balanced, so that'd be a good tool for them.
Yeah, I think something like that would be really cool. And it gave me an idea. Well, that'd be cool if you did like a fan deck contest, like like Restoration did, except amongst the community, and you guys can vote amongst yourselves and stuff. Obviously, the prize wouldn't be having their deck, be official, but I think it could inspire people to try to make the best deck they could.
Yeah, instead of putting out these junk decks all the time.
And
I mean, like, people make. I get it, but if you're gonna put why are you even putting time into it if you're not gonna try to make it? There's a lot of decks on there without any art or card backs or stuff like that. So,
I think that with your website or app or whatever you would make, if a person won that contest, they could be on like the front page, and this would be like a fan deck contest winner. And so it would get the shine that it deserves, So, I mean, that would be the ultimate curation. And I think help with your big problem of quality Fandex or whatever, like your idea
Sure.
of a quality Fandeck.
Maybe I'll put something together.
Could be sick, dude. I love talking about Unmatched all day, and I feel like you
Yeah.
enlightened me to a world of Unmatched that I do not understand or know, but I feel like I'm more in the know now. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
for that. And I was wondering before we go if you wanted to show me anything else that you've custom made, maybe a fan deck that you're working on or anything like that.
I don't know if I had. I was working on some art for a Goldilocks deck, but I think it's a really cool idea.
Oh yeah.
Um, you could. It's out. Um, I have some art for it. It's just not. It's not done. I gave up on doing some of the art because I was trying to do it in the same theme of like Root in their art.
Mm.
But essentially, the ability is after combat, if Goldilocks card value is the same as the opponent's card value, they take a damage.
Oh
And
wow.
then she 3 bears, and they each have 2 health, like Yanenga's archers. So her ability has to deal with it's not too hot, it's too hot, too cold, just right. So
Mhm.
you want it to be just right. So if it's ever even, then they'll take a damage. And then so she's got cards. If one's called too hot, it's a 4 value attack. If you won the combat, you may draw a card. Too cold, it's a 2 value defense. If you lost the combat, the opponent discards 1 card. And then just right is a 3 versatile. You may increase or decrease the value of this card by 1. So you could make it go in with your ability to make them automatically take a damage anyway. Um, and then she's got
Bro.
crashing through the trees, which Bigfoot has. And instead, you get to move all 3 of your bears up to 5 spaces. And then she can bring some of her bears back, I think twice.
Mm.
And then it's increased by the bear being there. But that was my next deck that I was kind of working on. I kind of gave up on it. If I could have one IP character in Unmatched, I don't think it'd be hard to get this one. But
Mm.
it'd be this guy right here.
Oh, the
This
Aragon
is
dude.
Aragon. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a book. We don't have any book characters in Unmatched. They're making a TV series recently. He's writing. He just wrote the newest book for the series, and it's coming out later the end of this year. So it's like kind of popular. It's coming back. So I think it'd be good to be an Unmatched. Also, I'm sure I'll still be around. I just can't do it full force, like I
Right.
used to. Otherwise, I'd be broke.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I wouldn't ask any more of you. Just know that we like what you do.
Yeah. I hope it inspires other people to really crack down and make a good deck, get some art. Hire a person if you can't do art yourself, something like that. I mean, usually somebody in their life knows somebody that can do art. And so if you're like your aunt does art, be like, hey, I have these ideas, could you do some art and I'll pay you,
Yeah,
just
I've
make it
seen
official.
AI art be a thing
Oh
too.
yeah,
I think that's a really
that's
smart,
pretty big now.
cheap idea. Yeah, like I had a friend of mine. I don't know if his deck is public yet, so I guess I won't say. But all of his art is AI, and it looks good. Like it looks,
I've seen a few of those. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I think
that's
that's a good
a
way to
good
do it too.
alternative for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if you can't afford or don't feel comfortable to draw, um, then yeah, I think that's the next step for
it's
sure.
pretty outrageous to get somebody to draw. It's pretty outrageous. I asked this one guy, and he's got some pretty decent art. It wasn't like super spectacular,
Mm.
and it's pretty good. And I asked him, and he's like, "That'll be $400 for one piece." I was like, "No, I can't afford it." I will say that the 15 card Raven deck. The reason there's 15 cards initially was because I was like, I want to do as little art as possible. So let's make
Oh,
a deck centered around that ability.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, it inspired you, so that's cool. Limitations
It
can
turned
be
out
the one
good.
thing to make gold, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. If we chill, I would love for you to bring your decks. I just want to see it in person. I want to see your mini and all that stuff.
Usually I send them out if I have extra. I don't have extra of. I don't think I have extra of gingerbread, or yeah. I'm like pretty much out of because Honestly, I just send them out when I wanna. Because you showed interest, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll send you that. I used to do that constantly, but I bought it in bulk. I had a huge stack of like gingerbread men, so I just did it.
That's really
Um,
awesome of you, man. But yeah, and I feel like you're not only a big member of the Unmatched community, but like I said, a representative of the Fandeck made community. So
yeah,
you're awesome, and you're like an OG too. So that's cool that not only are you one of the first people I know who started making content, maybe the first person that started making content for Unmatched.
I'm definitely the first person to like start printing it off and getting them out there and stuff. And
All right, man.
for sure,
Well, it was good talking to you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Um,
yeah,
Unmatched is a game.
yeah, good observation. All right,
All right.
peace out.
Peace out. Bye. Well, hey man, it was great talking to you. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for showing me a bit of your world, even though I know you're hanging up the cape. I will say, man, the people love what you do. So if you ever want to
Yeah,
come back, it will be welcomed.